Don't talk to neighbors.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't sharpen your pencil or get a drink of water when other people are talking.
Raise your hand before talking.
Make sure
Don't talk out loud. Raise your hand.
make sure you understand it so that you don't mess up.
Yeah.
For the next part of our activity, someone is going to present one of their starred items, and we're going to have a discussion about it. Okay, we'll start back here with Ashley.
Raise hands instead of yelling out.
Raise hands instead of yelling out. What do you think of that one?
I think it's a good rule because if everybody just starts yelling out at the same time, then we won't be able to hear each other, and we need to hear each other to, and you need to hear it so that you can think about it, and and we'd have to repeat it if we all talked at the same time.
Chrissy.
I think it's good for that because Miss O'Brien said that you are only one and there's 29 of us in here, and then you just can't hear us all. So you have to take turns.
Melinda?
I think what Ashley Wheeler said is a good idea because this is supposed to be a place to learn, and if everybody's yelling out at the same time, we can't learn anything.
Okay. I'd like to throw out a consideration. Do we have to raise our hands so that we can hear each other? All the things that you said about learning and listening and hearing each other and the importance of that, do we have to raise our hands all the time? Mike?
Go group by group and have the group decide who's going to go first and second and third and then fourth.
Is there a situation, though, when not everyone in the group wants to talk?
Yeah. And if they don't want to talk, they don't get a turn.
Jamal?
Well, I think that we should raise our hands because, like, somebody wants to talk, and they don't know which ones to go first. Like, I wanted to talk, and then Jody wanted to talk about something, and we didn't raise our hands, and you said take turns, and like, I thought I was gonna go, and Jody thought she was gonna go. Then we both talked at the same time, and we wouldn't know who would go first.
And if that happened, what could you do?
Just ask the other person, did they want to go? If they said no, then you can
Does
go.
that happen sometimes at home with you, that you and mom or brother and sister sometimes talk at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And you just stop and say, for a minute, for even a second, who's going to go first? Lauren?
I think it'll be a good idea if we did raise hands because I'm used to raising hands, but it might keep the room a little more controlled and it might be a little more organized if people don't just yell out.
Okay. Jesse?
When I was in kindergarten, first and second and third and fourth, we always raised our hands instead of yelling out because maybe somebody else was going to talk when you wanted to.
Okay. I appreciate your honesty and how you feel about this.
I don't
Stephen?
think it is a good idea because sometimes people forget what they're going to say, and so if we just say it out loud, and people can understand you, and you won't forget it because you already said it.
You have a suggestion maybe on what we can do with this?
I agree with Mike, just go group by group, and if nobody wants to say, just go to the next person.
Tommy?
I'm pretty comfortable with raising hands. I've done it in preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and now I'm in fourth, so I'm pretty comfortable.
Stephen, can you live with this? For a start, maybe? I think I can. And I think we're hearing maybe something that we come back to in another class meeting. Okay, put your hands down.
We need to be mature enough to where we could take turns, say if you're a boy and a boy talks right when a girl talks, be polite, maybe let them talk for once.
Normally, it starts out that we can't, control ourselves because we think, oh, I get to talk now, and they can wait for me. That's normally how it starts out until you like get us under control, and then it goes. A lot of the times after you get us cooled down, then it goes better.
Lauren?
Well, I think we should be able to do it, though, because my brother said in middle school and high school, that's the way the teacher works. And, if you get out of control, then you just have to stop talking, and that's the way it is. They just say, tell me stuff, and you say it out loud, and the teachers won't put up with it if it gets out of control, and then you'll just have to stop talking. So people, maybe we should, work on that, try it some more.
So we need to try it, you're saying?
Yeah.
And it's okay if it gets out of control. Is that what you're saying?
But people should try, their best for it not to get out of control.
I think maybe we could try taking our turns and talking out and maybe some things. But if it gets too out of hand, we have to go back to raising our hands.
For that activity?
Yeah, for just a couple, maybe 1 or 2 activities, just to try it out. And if we start getting mature enough and start being able to take our turns and know when the person's talking and then talk after them, then maybe we could try just not raising our hands.
So I hear you saying the same thing as Lauren and Ashley, just keep trying.
I think we're mature enough to do a lot of things, but I don't think we can do this because on some of the conversations that you said, just talk out, go in turn. Like somebody will be saying something, and right at the end of that, then somebody else will start saying something, and then like somebody will say something, and someone else won't agree with it, and they'll cut in right in the middle of the other person talking.
What do you think about what Amanda just said? Lisa?
In a way, I disagree with Amanda because I think we're mature enough to just take turns talking out. But in a way, I agree with Amanda because sometimes we get out of control. Like, somebody will start saying something, and then another person will disagree with that and butt in real quick. And then different people will butt in, and it'll all be mumble jumble and stuff.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we should still raise our hands, but like Nathan said, try it out first, and then if we don't do how you think we should, then we should go back to raising our hands.
Okay, but you're saying let's try it.
We should try it, but I don't think we're gonna stay. Like if Nathan was talking and Matt was talking, they were saying something to you, and then Matt told Nathan to go and go ahead and say what he wanted to say, and then Nathan told Matt to go ahead and say what he wanted to say, and then they both said something at the same time again, and it just wouldn't be right.
Why did they stop and say you go ahead?
Because maybe theirs wasn't really important. Maybe they thought theirs wasn't as important as the others.
Okay. What? Something over here?
They're being polite.
Polite.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Considerate.
Okay.
If you were the one who butted in, if you thought that they were done, and then right before they were done, right after they were done, they started talking again, and right then you started talking, you go ahead. You could go ahead and finish your stuff, and I'll say mine later.
It's just common courtesy.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you bump into somebody, your first reaction is, oh, sorry, unless you do it on purpose. I bump into Matt and I say, sorry, or excuse me. And, it's just what you should do because it's right and it's nice to do.
And what is common courtesy? What about raising hands or taking turns to talk? Where would common courtesy come in?
Well, we all have to get along and,
you may not like some people, but you have to be nice to them and you have to let them have their turn because you got your turn, so they should get their turn. So you should wait and tell them, you know, you go ahead because, you know, I interrupted you, and then you say what you want to say.
Which is what Jamal was describing, a stop.
In other words, don't be a spotlight hog.
Okay. Do I hear you saying that if we want to take turns, one thing that we might want to remember is, what'd you say, don't be a?
Spotlight hog.
Okay, and Lauren is saying?
Stop and tell that person that you accidentally interrupted them and tell them they can go on, and then you can just wait, and then you can say what you want to say after that person is finished. Or if I bumped in Matt, say sorry.
Okay, and Amanda, what would you add? If we wanted to try to take turns, you say?
Be polite.
And what would you say?
Be considerate and think of how the other person feels about you interrupting them.
Pardon me?
Those are two of our class agreements. Be friendly, help others, encourage others, and be considerate. And then another one of them would be respect others. That kind of goes along with that.
And those could be used if we wanted to try taking turns to talk. Okay, I think we've got time for maybe one more comment before we're going to have to break. Ashley?
At first, I was uncomfortable with this because I've never, all the years, as my teacher has always said, and raise your hand, and they've never said take turns talking, and I was just not comfortable with it. I was really uncomfortable with it, and now that I've seen everybody talking to each other and taking turns, I'm kind of feel more comfortable with it.
My parents were sad, but my brothers and I were overjoyed. I couldn't wait to get away from that awful street and those mean people who, no matter what we did or what we didn't do, they were always there, ready to hurt us.
But I don't think the neighbors and stuff have no right to just mess with them and try to hurt them and stuff. I don't think that's right. They're acting like they're all Mr. Perfect or Lady Perfect or whatever you want to call it. Because, like, the girls would play with her at first until their parents got with them, and then they thought, well, I'm all perfect because I do all this and I have friends. But then they just want to pick on her and their family just because of their race and color of their family and because of their Puerto Rican.
I don't think they should have the parents should have gave anybody a second chance because, I mean, they should have moved out right away. If they felt that they were unwanted, they shouldn't have stayed there in the first place. And I don't think they should be in any more harm if